Bunny Galore here, the queen of the cult movies, and welcome once again to another episode of Bunny and the Beast. This time it's a little bit different. We're doing it virtually. Yes, dreams do come true. I have him on a webcam.
We're under house arrest now.
Exactly. Oh, lockdown 1 flashbacks. It's the one and only Beast. Hello, darling.
Hello. I was about to say hello, my nana. Hello, granny. Yes, under house arrest. I'm in my bedroom, and it wouldn't be a podcast without a goblet of gin.
Ah, yes, I'm on the team myself. Obviously, this is the one good thing about being at home to record these things is I can make a nice cup of tea.
And we can make it like...
It's like 2:00 in the afternoon, James. What are you doing?
The listeners don't need to know that, okay? They don't need to know the time, the date, the place that we record. They don't know anything to anything.
Yeah. Yes, I think it should always sound, this podcast, I think this one should always sound like it's like 2 a.m. We've just got home from a club. That's what probably the vibe, isn't it, really?
Yeah, we've just got in from a night out.
Yes,
That's it.
Exactly.
It might be 2:00 in the afternoon, but we've been up all night.
Exactly. Well, thinking about you always keeps me up at night, I have to say, with concern and worry, obviously.
Rocking back and forth.
Yeah. What's he doing now? What's he doing? How has your week been? I don't think I've seen you since we recorded last week.
Oh, I don't think we have. Also, listeners, if you hear a bit of banging, it's we're on my street. There's builders. It sounds like a movie. That
it does.
It's a movie, but not that kind. Beautiful. Last week got very busy. The weekend was actually very chilled for once.
Yeah, same actually. Do you remember I said I was supposed to do a convention, and they well, it wasn't my idea. It was the producers of the show I do, but the organisers pulled me from the lineup because of this whole drag with children thing, and I was kind of ready, and it annoyed me more than I realised. But do you know what? The producers are much far more subtle, passive aggressive scheming than I am, because they basically had people there flying flyers with my photograph on it at the convention. So that is hilarious. I thought, because the new flyers for the new series are out, and so that any sort of personal appearances, they will put those out. And but it made me laugh a lot, because I've just put a few passive aggressive posts out on all my social media going, well, my goodness, guys, I'm not at the convention, but if you are, pick up a flyer.
You can mark it from other side of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's so strange. I had problems with one of the episodes' sound, and it turned out because I didn't have my TV on the right setting. Like, say maybe it was stereo or like whatever it is, surround sound. I had it on the wrong setting, so you couldn't hear the movie. You could hear me, but you couldn't hear the movie. But the person I had to speak to, that's in charge of the social media accounts, is in LA. And I was like, so we was trying to have this full-on conversation. It's like, what time? It's like 9 o'clock here. What time is it for you? That's the weirdest thing, mid-afternoon, trying to do it. And then I kind of realised the movie doesn't go out there until 9 p.m. in the evening. So it's like, oh God. Do you ever have that problem? When you speak to people on the West or East Coast, I can never work out timings.
Well, no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no. It's the first.
I think there we go. I think the thing is, you kind of need to have friends over there, then warrant conversations out there. But as I have friends.
Yeah,
I do have friends.
You do have friends. I think it's only like, as far as industry,
in my mind,
like business meetings or friends. With business stuff, it's because you're having to do it between 9 to 5. Their 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
I had to stay up some audition the other day where it was at 2 a.m. for me, which is like 5 p.m. for them. And I was like, and then they cancelled. And it was like, I just literally stayed up, like, making myself pretty at 2 a.m. is not easy, believe me.
You were making your way downtown, walking fast.
Exactly. So,
well, it's a little bit of you're a night owl and you're nocturnal, so...
I am indeed, yes, I am very much. Now, last night we had really bad storms here in London. Did you get woken up by that?
I well, I wasn't woken up. I was already awake, and I was watching it, and it was amazing. It was like a Vegas, it was like Disneyland light show.
Wasn't it? And it
was like how to make a Disneyland awesome.
I only watched that the other day for the first time. It's really cool, isn't it? I've never seen it live. I've just seen it like on YouTube. That was really dramatic, wasn't it? Just no trees come through the windows, though. You're all fine.
No, absolutely fine. I just enjoyed the fireworks of it. It was. I actually found it quite soothing.
Well, the weird thing is, I normally use an app for a podcast about rainstorms and things like that, and thunder and lightning. So I thought for a second I'd nudged my iPhone while I was watching a film and switched it on by mistake. And I realised the window was open and it was literally pummeling through the window. And I was like, hey, close the window.
It's like the apocalypse now. Like it's like 28 days, not 28 days later. That's vampires and zombies.
Yes, zombies, yes.
Zombies, not vampires. What am I thinking of? The day after tomorrow, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yes.
It seemed like very like that.
Well, I'm glad you're still in one piece, darling. I do have a question for you, which I've been aching to ask you since I've seen it on social media.
To make me feel so proud.
Well, that's a much better question. What have you done today that makes you feel proud? You've been working out. I've barely made it to the kettle.
I've had a client, I've had a class, I've gone to the gym myself, and then I've got this and some more calls with clients, and then I'm going to watch Le Cage tonight. So it's all very kind of chill. But yes, what have I done today that made me feel proud?
You've done loads. Literally, and you will love Le Cage aux Folles at Regent's Park Theatre with the lovely Mary Mack. Don't forget to tell her that you're coming.
I cannot wait.
Hopefully the show, JP, yes. Hopefully the show is on and they haven't got a downed tree across the stage or anything like that. Because that's the one problem.
It's called Zary, not Downtree. Get her name right.
Downed tree. And that's what we're going to call her from now on.
Yeah.
Miss Mary Mack Downtree.
Yeah.
That's the problem with being outside, is because I went to see Little Shop of Horrors a few years ago and it rained on the final matinee and the show was cancelled.
I watched the final ever performance of it on the nighttime and they just were like, it was pissing it down and they just decided to, you know what, we're just going to carry on.
Oh my God.
The final one was carry on.
I literally was there in the afternoon. We didn't know each other back then. That's so weird. I think for safety, they probably, because it was the final one, they had to cancel the matinee. I think they had to kind of, then it depends on how bad it was, because it was quite bad in the afternoon. So because they did stop the show, they kind of swept the stage to get the water off the stage, but because it's that tiled flooring, because it was the shop set, it's not the most secure of so it's like laminated flooring. I don't think it's very safe to be doing stuff.
Drag queens outside in a storm, that's just a death wish, isn't it?
I think that's the one thing I was a bit concerned about Le Cage aux Folles in the Regent's Park, because it was outside. That's like not the show I'd ever do outside, because it is drag queens. It's set in a nightclub. It's hard to. But of course, what I forget every single time, if you go and see an evening performance, is when it obviously gets dark halfway through the show. So you go. It's always quite magical when it starts go from dusk to dark. I don't think you notice that in Le Cage per se, as you would do little night music or
Seven Brides Nine Brothers,
or something
has an outside setting.
Set outside. I think you'd notice it more in Midsummer Night Dream. Obviously, if you're doing that, would be great there, but it'd be quite magical there. But Le Cage aux Folles, maybe not. But they've done it so well. It is I saw it myself 2 weeks ago. It is the best production of that musical I've ever seen, and I've seen quite a few. So enjoy.
I will. What was the question you had for me?
Oh, the question was, so how many times do you think about the Roman Empire?
What? That's odd.
I know. So I don't think
the only time I think of the Roman Empire is why should Caesar stomp around like a giant while the rest of us trying to get smushed under his big feet? Huh? What's so great about Caesar, huh? Brutus is just as cute as Caesar. Brutus is as smart as Caesar. People like Brutus just as much like Caesar. And when it become okay for someone to come to the bars with everybody, huh? We should have totally stabbed Caesar. That's only when I think about the Roman Empire. Thank you. That was my Gretchen Wieners monologue.
I don't even know where that's from. Where is that from?
Mean Girls.
It is Mean Girls.
Together. Holiday, man.
I don't know Mean Girls as... I obviously have seen it, and I've taken an ex-boyfriend to a quote-along. You know, have a sing-along, Rocky Horror sing-along Sound of Music?
Yes.
I took him to the quote-along Mean Girls. Halfway through the film, I realised I'd never seen it before. And I was like, I felt like I was in a cult because everybody was like chanting around me.
It's October 3rd.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor for you, Glen Coco. You go, Glen Coco.
But I don't know it as, you know, there's a lot of things I could quote every syllable of Some Like It Hot, Rocky Horror, Young Frankenstein, The Fearless Vampire Killers, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I can, every single, you know, frame of it, I know.
Is Elvira the one that's like, but
How Ned, I have no complaints.
yeah, that. But then she does a monologue about like, and when you don't forget about me, I'm just a great set of boobs. I was also a great set of legs.
That's the word. Yeah, exactly.
And ways can you use simple words? They must be simple.
Yeah, as long as it's simple. It's just, I mean, a great film. Obviously, it depends in other words, it depends what you grew up with. I didn't grow up with Mean Girls. I did, you know, so I think it's great, but I don't know it completely. But that's a great example because, so what's happening on social media, I opened my TikTok last night and it was somebody, a fabulous gay TikToker, and he was like, his boyfriend was asking, so what do you think about the Roman Empire? And he was like, what? And he's literally outside the arena, you know, in Rome.
The Colosseum.
Sorry, the arena.
The arena. It's not the M&S. The arena. Like,
St. Albans Arena.
It's a huge historical landmark. You were probably 5 when it was built.
Exactly. It was like, that's my first
arena.
I was entertainment.
School system. Public school system's failing people.
Oh, darling, I was private school system. But then, same, yeah, exactly. No, it's weird. Then I saw, like, on The View, a clip from The View saying, everyone's asking their straight husbands, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And they all go, about once a day or twice a day. And the answers are quite surprisingly a lot. I think gay guys probably, you know, we would probably only think about it, you know, for sexy outfits.
We probably only think of it as the film 300.
Yeah,
exactly. That's not even Roman Empire, that's Sparta.
That's what, exactly.
But it was speeders and six packs, and it was very hot.
What amazed me though is like Americans, guys thinking about it, because it's like, I think we would probably think about it a bit more here, because obviously we were invaded by the Romans, and there's a lot of, you know, Hadrian's Wall, and there's kind of the layout of our roads are to do with the Romans, the straight roads are to do with the Romans. So we have a lot of history here with Rome here, but Americans, I was like, what? Why would they even think about that? Isn't that weird?
But then you ask an American to make a cup of tea, and it's absolutely abysmal. The cold water, splash of milk, tea bag in, and put in the microwave, and no.
Satan.
Yeah, literally. It's like you don't know what you're doing. I feel like they're trying to gaslight the British public.
Yes, I've seen those TikTok videos where it's like, this is how I make tea, and
I think there was also one of the Kardashians, beige number 3 Kardashian, trying to cut a cucumber, but she decided to hold the knife in her right hand, and she swapped her hands around and then cut like this, and everyone's like, what the hell is going on? And that's just clickbait. It's just gaslighting. Is it gaslighting? It's something.
Yeah. But what a strange virtual online debate to have. Is like, what do you think of the Roman Empire?
What do you think of the Black Plague of 1066?
I did find it quite a hard time because all the theatres were closed, so I couldn't perform.
That's how Bunny Galore was born. She played Desdemona in the OG Othello.
Exactly.
Desdemona.
There we go. I was waiting for the first pun of the day. Take a shot. I think it's weird, is it? Because only during the pandemic, when everything was closed, I did have not flashbacks, obviously, because I wasn't alive back then. But you did suddenly go, "Oh my God, was this what it was like in the olden days when things like the plague would hit and everything would be closed down. Yes. But they didn't have a cure. So, and they thought it was like, if you, stood on one leg and sung a nursery rhyme, you'd get cured rather than wait for the actual vaccines. Which is
also humans are still kind of stupid to this day. I think 40 years ago, they called HIV and AIDS the gay cancer. Let's not forget that.
Oh, yeah. Now, that I do remember, obviously. And, yeah, I think the pandemic certainly triggered a lot of memories of that. It weirdly, because obviously no one was paying attention to that pandemic.
Should we do a little health disclaimer? Can we do a little health disclaimer?
Yes, of course.
For any straight listeners that there are, I don't know if there are many, but if you are there, if you've not been tested for HIV, you should, because we're at a point in our society now where HIV affects more straight people than it does gay people. Gays know about testing regularly, whereas straight society is not really that clued up on it because it generally think it doesn't really affect them, it just affects the gays. But in 2023, HIV affects more straight people, so do get tested, know your status, and if everyone did get tested, we could eradicate new HIV cases by, I think it was by 2030. We could have this completely cancelled. It could be completely stopped. So if you are listening, prick your finger, get tested, know your status. Thank you. To this day, no one's fact-checked us about you thinking there was a small bone in the penis.
That's so wrong. That was so wrong. As soon as I Googled it, I was like, where did I get that from? Obviously some weird urban myth, drunken night out.
You had a James moment right there. A James moment.
Yes. Exactly. I want to take my clothes off and go online. Yes, exactly.
Yesterday, not yesterday, today, on my Facebook memories, it came up with a... from 11 years ago when I was living in Newcastle. Well, no, I was studying in Newcastle. I was living in Durham at the time. So I was getting the train from Newcastle to Durham. And 11 years ago to the day, I accidentally put myself on a train to Scotland. So...
Oh, isn't that scary?
I shared that. And then the amount of people that went, oh, James. James.
Thinking it happened 2 hours ago. So
literally. No, it was 11 years ago, but still. And I met someone a few weeks ago that is a friend of Randy's, and her husband's called James, and his family have a group chat that is literally described as, oh, James. And those two words, I've never felt so seen in my entire life. Those two words are literally the description of my existence.
No, that does scare me. And weirdly, the only time I've done it is with you when I think it was because they were cancelling trains left, right, and centre, trying to go from Waterloo just to Vauxhall, one stop. And suddenly...
that makes it sound like it was my fault that you got the train. So, disclaimer, no, I was already there on time. I decided to get on the wrong train and end up in Surbiton.
Yeah. So I think they were kind of jumping to like the first big station. I don't know what happened, but they were cutting out all the little stops. So suddenly I was in Surbiton. I think it was self-harming. It was just me trying to get out of recording the podcast. I think that was just me.
Yeah.
So my inner child going, no, run, save yourself.
Don't get in the van. Don't get in the van.
So, darling, I've noticed that the weather is finally changing. We've had like a late summer, haven't we, in September?
Yeah, we've had like false summer number 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Or is it false autumn or something like that?
Also, yeah, no, it's true, isn't it? In autumn. It should be autumn. So the weather we're getting now, but it does feel like it's getting towards the autumn and darker seasons. Now, I'm a big fan of Halloween, obviously, and then it's my birthday, then it's Christmas. I'm always away doing shows. So I like this time of year. I hate January and February, but I love autumn. Are you more of a summer person? Obviously, this is a loaded question because you're not normally wearing many clothes.
Oh, I adore the summer. I am a much more summer person. It's the longer days. It's the more vitamin D, not a euphemism, before you go for it. Longer days, more heat. I just much prefer, it's much better for my mental health rather than the 30 minutes of daylight that we get in the winter. And I'm a winter child, and I'm just like, oh God, it's so depressing. I hate going to work. and working in the basement, then finish up, and it's like, oh, it's still dark. It's like, I want a bit of sunlight.
Yeah, I think London isn't great in summer because all the buildings aren't built for hot weather at all.
Yeah.
We don't have air cons, and particularly theatres don't. Theatre is a nightmare in the West End theatres.
Well, I've had people come around this weekend. They're like, I'd love to see you and chill with you. I'm like, how hot's your flat right now? They go, 29 degrees. I'm like, you want to come use my aircon, don't you? It's like, oh,
yes. Oh my God, that's vicious, but also great pickup line. There we go. It's better than a puppy. There we go. You can use your aircon to tempt gentlemen into your sort of lair of zoom zoom. There we go.
Yeah. Zoom zoom. Oh God.
Wood Grace.
Right, thank you.
Wood Grace group.
I think I'm okay. I need to rewatch that. I'm due a full rewatch of that, actually.
Yeah, me too. I think because I've just discovered Will and Jack are doing a podcast and they're watching each episode. So I'm going to watch the episode, listen to their like a commentary, basically.
Almost like Drag Race and Race Chaser. You watch the episode and you do commentary, listen to the commentary.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I always listen to Race Chaser. I always do Pit Stop. More importantly, I always do Roscoe's viewing party, Roscoe's Tavern in Chicago. They do an incredible viewing party, and the amount of truths that go, or I hate the tea because I hate that Americanization of drag, that you get from Roscoe's is always delicious. Literally, like refresh. When's YouTube dropping? Lately, because obviously the Nature has been on the last All-Star season, that there's quite a few edits going on there because she'll come up with a lot of truths.
I'm sure. Well, speaking of drag, actually, little segue. We're going to get a bit serious again. It's been a year since Cherry Valentine died.
Yes, I've just seen that on Instagram, funny enough, and it's still quite a shock, isn't it? Now, I didn't know Cherry personally. We followed each other on social media. We chatted a bit, and I thought she was fabulous. I really thought she was such a great, interesting person. I watched a friend of mine, Karen, had produced the documentary for BBC Three that Cherry did.
The Cherry Valentine, Gypsy Queen and Proud is, if you've not seen it, it is a beautiful story. It is a really good insight into the way gypsy travellers grow up and her entire experience and finding drag and then becoming a nurse in the pandemic. It's really stunning story. Just also so young, 28 years old.
I think it's always a shock when someone dies that's a contemporary of yours. So rather than a family member that's older, before you, that's me to you, isn't it? But
you said it. You said it
exactly. So, but you kind of expect it. If it's somebody in their 70s, 80s, you're not going to be a massive surprise if they, they're
It's not as much of a shock. Where still in their 20s, it is a really big shock because they've got a whole life ahead of them.
Yeah, such a shock.
So, everyone who knew Cherry Valentine, who has known someone who has gone through dark times, suspected, or this, that, and the other, has known someone who's done irreversible things. We are sorry for that experience, and thank you for keep going, keep pushing yourself through it.
And Cherry, I think, has inspired. I remember there's one as it Dragzilla, on Twitter. I'm sorry if I've said that wrong. Someone that's followed me for quite a long time because I'd posted about Cherry being on the show and how amazing she was in her episodes, and we are
good.
So what I want to say to people is, we get this, because we have certain profile that kind of people follow us, not massive profiles, but we probably interact with our profile quite a lot of people that follow us and like our work. So we get to see the ripples that we create. And with someone like Cherry, I think I hope she got to see how much she was loved. And I hope she got to see what effect she had on people, how she inspired people, and she really did inspire the kids out there. So I hope that's part of the legacy, and that's part of immortality, to see that the effect that we have on, and I hope Cherry got to see that.
Before we finish, I've remembered one embarrassing story of my life.
Just the one, darling?
One from 1 year.
Okay.
So this summer has been the summer of Kylie Minogue. Can we all agree?
Yes.
Can we all agree?
Yes.
Padam, tension. She is dominating the charts again. And Danny's there too. And
she had a great number out this year, hasn't she?
She did.
Track.
And a great TV show. I've always been a fan of Kylie, but I've never been like obsessed. Like I've been like, I'm more of a Gaga gay. And
I'm more of a Madonna gay, I think.
Yeah.
But I do love Kylie. I really do, but I'm not that kind of,
Well, this summer I've really developed my love for Kylie, and I'm a proper Kylie fanog right now. I am a huge, massive. I listen to her on Spotify all the time, and it reminded me of a story of actually that involves Kylie Minogue. When I think I must have been 21, I was going on some dates with a guy. We went on a few dates, and he was a big Kylie fan, and you know, when you're dating, you get into a bit of like things with your clothes off, etc., etc.
It was very demurely put there.
No, right?
And they were just holding hands, obviously, before marriage.
No, exactly. But we did it every time it happened was in his room, and he was a huge Kylie fan. He had a life-size Kylie Minogue cutout in his bedroom. So I did the nasty in front of a cutout of Kylie Minogue.
So the important question here, was that exciting, but having a third person in the room watching, voyeurism?
Well, I must say, I just can't get it out of my head.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Your cutouts. I've got some in my drawer that I will show you when we're off the podcast that friends from game night gave me as a birthday present.
Oh, fantastic. I look forward to that. Is it like merch? Is it sort of the new James Colbrook, The Beast merchandise, perchance?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Not yet. That's all being developed.
We do need. I need to put my t-shirts. I keep forgetting to do this on the website, so I need to sell some merch. We should do some Bunny the Beast merchandise, certainly like a mug or something like that, or a snuddy thong or something. You know.
I was going to say a jock strap, but
there we go.
God, no.
You should have some. You should have a little workout stuff, like maybe not that particular, but you know, whatever you would. Yeah, like I think a t-shirt would be great for you.
Like just face on it.
Yeah, well, you could have some artwork version. Just checking. You could have some artwork version of you. That'd be fun if we find a good artist. That I'm sure you know some people that'd be able to do that.
Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Call out on the socials.
Yes, exactly.
But yes. On that note,
yes, darling.
Mother Bunny Galore, if you were an object in the Beast Castle today, what would you be and why?
What would I be? Oh gosh, it's been a roller coaster of an episode, hasn't it? Well, we've just been talking about merchandise. I will be the brand new Beast T-shirt that will be available before Christmas, where the Beast will probably not be wearing very much, but probably a Santa hat. And a smile.
Oh, where's the Santa hat going to be?
Yes, yes, reversible. Obviously, on the back it'll have the back view. And what would you be today, darling?
And I'm going to be the cow of Kylie Minogue, watching all the filthy shenanigans go on in the castle.
Well, that's just brilliant. I love that. I think that's healthy. So great. So I think we did this really well. This is our very first virtual meetup because of our schedules being a bit all over the place this week, and to be fair, the weather's so horrible the last day. I think it's quite nice to stay inside and do this. It's much more intimate.
I know, and it's so lovely not to see him in person as well.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. The beast finally comes with a mute button. Dreams do come true. If you rub that lamp hard enough, you get your wish.
It's always great fun, and thank you for tuning in this week. If you have any topics or anything you want to talk about, join us at bunnytheb69 on Instagram, or write to us at bunnytheb69@gmail.com, and we shall see you next time.